All right, we're back on MorningLine. Thanks for joining us. Our guest this morning is Murfreesboro Police Chief. This isn't Steve Anderson.
No.
This is Karl Durr.
No.
Of course, both chiefs are dealing with similar type. Listen, every city, and Officer Kyle Evans and I have talked about it. Sergeant Evans, Clarksville, okay, Murfreesboro, Mount Juliet, Lebanon. They're all seeing modest and Metro especially increases in different types of crime. And as you said, your biggest concern, Chief, right now is the fact that weapons are being fired.
Right.
That's the big deal here, is that there are guns and it's gun violence, but the weapons are being fired.
Yeah, the amount of shots fired that are and the behavior behind it is what's alarming.
Yeah.
You know, and because it puts our community at risk, and that's what's going to drive fear. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the issue that we're tackling. Our goal is to reduce this issue. And again, as we've talked about on the show, it's just not one bullet that's going to solve it. Literally, it's going to be a partnership. It's going to be the community coming together, the university, the apartment complexes, the city, and together we'll get this solved. Because the ultimate goal is to make this a safe, livable neighborhood. Yeah. Because, like you talked about, it's about the money, but you know, with increased people and the increased population. But ultimately, the city will prosper by managing this situation through it.
The safer, the more trust. Like, for instance, Elizabeth here talking about how she was not far from the incident last night. She was walking her dog, minding her own business. She was aware of her surroundings, but there was little she could do except hopefully get out of harm's way. But for people like Elizabeth and others right now who see some of this that's happened in the last couple of weeks, you know, in Murfreesboro, what would be your message for them if they're concerned about their own safety? What can you reassure them with?
Well, I'll just say that Murfreesboro is a very safe community. We enjoy a very low crime rate. We have a low murder rate. The recent incidents we've made arrests in, they've been targeted incidents, meaning someone's not going out there and shooting someone at random. The suspects knew the victims. There was some type of drug correlation to each of those. So if you're not going to large parties that get out of control, or if you do, you leave, or if you're not engaging in buying or selling drugs, the chances of you actually becoming a victim of crime in Murfreesboro is very, very low. Then if you look at the property end of it, the victim of becoming a property crime victim is low in and of itself. Lock your doors. Take simple crime prevention tips. Take the things out of your car.
Yeah, don't leave a gun in your car.
Don't leave a gun in your car. If you do those things, the chances of becoming a victim in Murfreesboro are very, very low. So it's a very safe city. Now, with that, don't have a sense of complacency. You need to take safety into your own hands and be aware of your surroundings. Make sure you know what's going on around you, and don't take unnecessary risks. We have a great police department. We make many arrests. We're working very, very hard to keep crime at low levels in a safe, livable neighborhoods, apartments for people to live. But your chances of becoming a victim greatly go down when you take some simple crime prevention tips, and those chances are low anyway. So we're working hard to solve this crime. We're working hard to solve and prosecute the other crimes, and we're not going to tolerate violent crime in our city. But I think to answer your question is, it's a safe community. Help be part of this solution and make it an even safer community.
On any given day, Chief Durr, how many officers are out there at not just given day, given moment, for instance, right now, do you have out there? I know you have different shifts coming about. I've done stories, they come and go, but dozens.
Yeah, we have you know, I don't know the exact number. I have to look at this.
Yeah, like right now.
Yeah,
right.
because then we have motors, you know, and they're assisting with our efforts and stuff like that. But yeah, we have dozens of people out there. We have detectives. So we have staffing out there. Could we always use more? Yeah, but we're making effective use with our resources, and people are attentive there, and the officers are out there doing a job, which is demonstrated by our being able to arrest people for these capital crimes.
And the quick response time. And you've been here now more than a year, and so you've gotten a handle, obviously, on the city and running things with the department. How confident are you that some of the things you're talking about are going to work, and that we'll see results in what, a matter of weeks, a matter of months, this time next year? What do you think?
I mean, I give it some time, because the problem wasn't created overnight, and it's not going to be solved overnight. I mean, I look at the university's issues I dealt with and helped be a part of the problem solving out in Oregon, it was years and years of culture that occurred out there with the partying and everything, but it took us 2 years to change that behavior. Now, this is a little bit different. I want a much quicker resolve to that, but it could take months. But I think the right people at the table, and we need to continue those conversations and keep working, keep pushing forward on this topic. DeLacy and others here saying they will say the Murfreesboro Police are very responsive and are doing a great job. They thank you for your service. Well, thank you. We've had several comments like that. We've had some others saying I wish the police could do more, and I think you say you're going to do more. But you know, that's why shows like this are important, to get the information out. Let's go to Ralph. Ralph, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, man.
Hey, Ralph, what's on your mind?
All right, I've got a question I'd like to ask the police officers there with you this morning. I understand that it costs a lot of money to train a K-9 unit because they have several different things that they have to do with them. But if you take a litter of Chihuahuas and actually train them just for drug use, like finding coke or finding marijuana or whatever else, you can actually train the whole litter to go to a certain gate to find their food. And when they get hungry, they're going to go after something to eat now, trust me, and they will find what it is that they are actually, or they don't get fed.
Well, drug dogs.
What about beagle juice?
Yeah, beagle juice.
Beagle juice.
I got a beagle and a couple of pugs I'll volunteer.
Did you say beagle or beetle? Don't say it, because if it's beetle, don't say it 3 times.
No, yeah, right. It's beagle juice. Okay, that's my beagle. No, I mean,
we do have officers that have drug dogs, and we have multi-purpose dogs.
It's a K-9 unit, right?
Yeah, the K-9, and we're moving towards more multi-purpose dogs. Not only just drug, but we're also having bomb dogs too, because that's also making the community safe, is to be able to detect certain things. So, but that's something that we have and within our capability.
Metro right now is in the process of addressing the issue of body cameras for their officers. Your thought, is that something that you'd look at down the road potentially for Murfreesboro PD?
Yeah, that's something I looked at when I was out in Oregon.
Okay.
And right now, I think it's a cutting-edge tool. I think in Tennessee, there's with the open records, there's still a lot of issues. There's privacy issues. I know some of those, I believe, were addressed in legislation, and it's also a funding issue. If you want to, just a real rough number, it's roughly $1,200 a year per officer.
I'm sorry, I'm with you on this. It's just at this point, and I know we're looking at it and there can be benefits, but it is super expensive, and I'm not sure. The whole key is how's it going to be managed, and who's going to keep the records, and when are they going to have it on, and when are they going to have it off, and what kind of access will the media have to some of these videos, and at how quick a time? I mean, there are a lot of questions. Knee-jerk, everyone's like, yeah. Think about it a bit, and I'm not saying I'm against it, but boy, there are a lot of questions still involved with this.
And because of the amount of dollars behind it, being fiscally prudent, and you know, we have a new police building, we have a lot of things, but we also are fortunate that we have in-car video systems already. So our need having to equip an officer with the video isn't as imperative as maybe agencies that have no capability whatsoever. Yeah. So it's very expensive, and what are the long-term solutions? So I mean, we're sitting here watching, listening to see what's going on, and then make a good decision down the road.
Yeah, Patrick agreeing with me, sending in just cameras are great, but there are many issues: cost, storage, equipment, all of that. In terms of, as you've said, in Rutherford County as a whole, you get together. I know you're familiar with all of the police chiefs in each of the cities, and then the new sheriff, of course, who's been on board for a while. Close in contact working with the DA, Jennings Jones, just in terms of prosecutions, and the folks over at MTSU. All of you working together?
Yes.
How often do you guys ever get together and meet? I mean, literally, you know, Chief Arnold from Smyrna and the new sheriff.
We have a once in, and I can't tell you where.
Okay.
We meet. Yeah, I know. We meet for breakfast once a month, all of us, and we talk about issues in our communities. So we're all committed to that, from Jennings Jones to the sheriff to Eagleville, and you know, we all get together and break bread together.
Okay, and they're all and this kind of thing is everywhere, dealing with it, no matter where you happen to be. Any other new ideas on the horizon that you're looking at? Obviously, you've met with the mayor, you've sent out the letter, looking at the apartments, trying to help them and improve safety. Anything else, or is it mostly just the good old-fashioned police work, community policing, getting out and being visible?
I think it's building those partnerships and working together and communicating is what we're working on. I mean, like I said, this afternoon I'm going to a meeting where somebody's making a proposal for where they saw positive results in housing complexes out in California.
Who's making that proposal?
It's a former Oakland Police Department officer
who lives here now, or
lives in the area. Saw the story that came out and said, "Hey, I have a possible solution." So we're weighing things out. So the community's engaging us. So I mean, we're having those discussions, and we're just on the forefront of pushing things forward. So we're going to evaluate this information and see if it's going to be a tool for us.
Yeah, I think that's great. So people have been responsive since that letter went out last week, and what you've been doing. You're already hearing it, and we mentioned this earlier. Already, some of the folks with the apartment complexes have responded to your offer to help them set things up and make things more safe.
Yeah, I would be nervous if we had an invitation. The mayor put out an invite to these apartment complexes and say, "Hey, we want to talk about this," and nobody showed up.
Right. That's what I was watching for, and I was worried that that might happen because I kept thinking they're not going to do this if it's going to cost them money. But I think they realize it will help preserve money for them. The safer, the better they can rent things out. So, right? But I mean, seriously, we were checking on this, and I checked with Kyle, and he said, no, we've had some responses since then. And hopefully that continues to grow in that respect.
Right, and again, I want to repeat what Kyle says. Number one, it's not going to be fixed overnight, but people are engaged. As long as we stay engaged as a whole, we'll solve through this and make it better over time. And the other thing is be aware, don't be a victim, come forward with information and help be a part of the solution and not be a problem by keeping silent on things.
Awesome. So, all right, listen, Chief.
Hey.
Always a pleasure. Will you come again?
Absolutely.
I know you will. Kyle, you're welcome at any time. Thank you, Sergeant Evans. Thank you, and Chief Durr. Thank you for coming on and talking about this with what's. I think this was especially timely because of some of these things, and to let people know what you guys are doing about it. I think that's great. Thank you both for coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Take a break. Have a programming note about tomorrow right after this. Stay with us, everyone.